After nearly 4 years of devastating war, something remarkable is happening. For the first time since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, world leaders are openly saying the word peace, not as a distant hope, but as a real possibility. High-level talks are underway in Europe. The United States is directly involved. European leaders are discussing peacekeeping forces, but fighting continues on the ground. So the big question is, are we truly closer to peace, or is this just another pause in a long war? Tonight, we break down what the latest reports really say, what's being negotiated behind closed doors, and why this moment could reshape Europe's security for decades. According to Reuters, AP News, and European officials, late 2025 marks the most serious diplomatic push since the war began. For the first time, the US, Europe, Ukraine, and Russia are engaged in parallel negotiations. Security guarantees for Ukraine are being openly discussed. European leaders are planning a multinational peacekeeping force. Reuters reports that European governments now agree any peace deal must include European-led security guarantees, potentially involving troops on the ground to prevent future Russian aggression. This represents a major shift. Europe is no longer just supporting Ukraine, it's preparing to enforce peace. The United States is playing a central role in pushing talks forward. According to AP News, US officials say Washington has agreed to provide security guarantees as part of a peace framework, something Ukraine has demanded since day one. US envoys have been meeting Ukrainian and European officials in Berlin, while also maintaining back-channel communications with Moscow. But this involvement is controversial. Some European leaders fear a rush deal. Others worry Ukraine may be pressured into painful compromises. Still, Washington believes that without US backing, no peace agreement would survive. The biggest obstacle remains territorial control. Ukraine has made its position clear. No formal surrender of occupied territory. No recognition of Russian claims. The Independent reports that President Zelensky has flatly rejected any deal that permanently gives Russia Ukrainian land. Yet Reuters notes that some Western negotiators privately acknowledge that frontline realities may shape the final agreement, a deeply uncomfortable truth. This is where peace talks become fragile. For Ukraine, land equals sovereignty. For Russia, territory equals leverage. And neither side wants to be seen as losing. One of the most discussed proposals involves a European-led multinational force. According to Reuters and Sky News, European troops would help monitor ceasefire lines. The force would deter renewed Russian attacks. The mission would operate with US political backing but European command. This is historic. It would mark one of the strongest European security deployments outside NATO's traditional framework. However, Russia has not publicly accepted such a force, and Moscow's silence worries analysts. Despite diplomatic momentum, the war has not stopped. Al Jazeera reports ongoing drone attacks, missile strikes, and fighting, even as delegations meet in Europe. Sky News describes the situation as a race against time, diplomacy trying to outrun escalation. This contradiction is why global audiences are watching so closely. Can peace be negotiated while bombs are still falling? Or does continued fighting signal talks may collapse? History offers no easy answers. This isn't just about Ukraine. The outcome will determine Europe's future security architecture, NATO's long-term role, how wars end in a multipolar world. If peace succeeds, it could become a model for ending modern conflicts. If it fails, it may signal that great power wars are now almost impossible to resolve diplomatically. So, are we finally near the end? The truth is this: talks are more serious than ever. Guarantees are being planned, not just discussed. But core disagreements remain unresolved. Peace is possible, but fragile. What happens next will depend on political courage, military realities, and whether compromise is seen as survival or surrender. One thing is certain: the next few months may define Europe's future for a generation.